So you have your camera, you're ready to go and tell that story. But what story? How do you find it? Oh, I got some ideas. Hey, it's Gretchen again, and we're continuing with that idea of every photo tells a story, but it's not always easy to find that story. And how do we capture the meaningful moment? How do we find that magical time? How do we make a story come together? I got a few ideas that might be helpful, but only you are going to be able to tell me if you can incorporate these. Hopefully, they work for you. These sometimes work for me. So let's talk about that. So capturing magical moments is really what I want to try to do when I want to tell a story. I want it to engage the viewer. I want it to tell them the story of what I saw. And how can we do that? Very first thing is through observation. That is such a key thing to observation is like you've got to pay close attention to your surroundings and anticipate. You never know when things are going to happen, but it is one of those things that they can happen like an instant and so quick, or you can have to wait a while for it. But paying close attention to my surroundings and trying to anticipate what might be coming or what might happen. For example, I am planning a trip to uh, go to the Rubbing Beach in Canada to see the orcas. It's on the north end of Vancouver Island. I am anticipating what is going to be happening there, but I also have to plan for it. I have to pay attention to the weather, the surroundings, and look at other kind of times that other people have been able to get there. So I'm anticipating that moment. When I'm there at the moment, I have never been there, so I don't know exactly what's going to happen. So I'm going to have to incorporate the next thing, and that's going to be patience. It might not happen the way I expect it to. I may have to just wait for the right moment. And that's okay because a good story is worth waiting for. And if that helps to improve my story in my photo, then that's what I'm going to do. And last of all, it's that connection. Well, how you engage with your subjects, that is really what create that authentic and meaningful and captivating type magical moment. But who knows what your subject is? If you're photographing people, if you just walk in and to the place you're going to photograph and start snapping away like you haven't connected with who either you're doing the portrait shoot of or the wedding party or whatever, if you've made no connection with them, the pictures are not going to tell the story. You have to know a little bit about them. It's like going into the wildlife and going into the wilderness and doing wildlife photography. You have to know a bit about your subject. You have to understand their behavior and what's important to those animals and why. When I go to the rubbing beach, I will have done a lot of research to know and anticipate their behavior and kind of what I'm going to have with that connection because why they do that. That for me that makes a connection because I love the wildlife and that whole aspect of it. but connecting my subject to my story, there may be some behind the scenes, some pictures that lead up to that, what this goes to, or when I decide to title the photos that I get from that, having a description in with the photo makes a lot of difference. So sometimes when you're creating that story, it's not just in the photo itself, it's in how you would describe it to other people, or it's in your description of it to yourself and bringing that to life. So those are the kind of things that help with capturing that magical moment and making your story fuller, more more full, whatever, a richer story. Don't just snapshot. Take your time, make a connection, have some patience, and be observant. Makes all the difference in the world. There's still a little bit more to this storytelling. I have one other key issue that I want to talk about, or key tip that I want to tell you about, but that'll come in the next one. So until next time, everybody, keep looking for the beauty hidden in plain sight. It's all around you, and you can tell it in your story.